Hello and welcome to another gameplay review on the Virkayu gameplay channel. And in this one, our jungler is CHO'GATH, and he is going to go munching on some ADCs. Well, an Akshan in the mid lane, maybe even a Karthus, because I got tired of looking for some good champions for us to have a review. I didn't want to go another 45 pages, and literally 45 pages of replay, same bloody champions. So I thought, man, why not custom search something that I haven't done at all, but I know people like to play, and I know has a hidden OP or just an off-meta vibe that's, actually viable. CHO'GATH! Why not? Because, all the champions in these modern days have giga passives. I mean, why not a simple passive? Let's restore some health and some mana. And go home. Right. What we're going to look at here, obviously with that weird introduction out of the way, is a Predator CHO'GATH using runes on your screen, an approach velocity secondary page. Thank you, Nobooty's Cosmic. I mean, it's still inspiration, but I'll take the approach velocity. Some Shyvana CHO'GATH type stuff. We watch all our entrances, nice protection. I mean, there's no real invade from the enemy team. And let's go. This skin, by the way, I love this skin. This is just such a high quality skin, and I haven't seen this replay. So I mean, obviously scouted the play, but not this particular replay. We are going for a Raptor knockup start. Now remember, that knockup is 1 second and does not scale as you max the ability, but it's not the TFT knockup that you always, if anyone played TFT right at the beginning and they had CHO'GATH and would just knock up the whole board, and then you came to League and you watched CHO'GATH, it was always a bit weird. So we got for Vorpal spiked second and into the red. Now what you can do from this type of clear, which I like, is that you can flex into an early gank, specifically on lanes with CC versus lanes who don't have mobility. That's the kind of stuff we need to track. Obviously in this particular situation, we are against the Hecarim with Camille versus Trundle top lane, and his lordship Greek god in the mid lane. Bot lane is already going turbo fighting. And obviously fighting a Karthus is something you don't really want to do too often, too liberally, because of that Q damage. You want to stay bunched up because it does more damage to ISO targets. So like Kha'Zix, don't, spread out and compromise the damage that it gives you. And the problem is, in these situations, when the ADC dies and the support's alive on your team, the enemy ADC or APC in this particular situation just is able to get a really juicy lead. So we'll keep an eye on that. Obviously, Karthus 11-3 at this point. We did get an assist from the Vayne, and she has now returned to lane. Our jungler, Solo Raptors into Red Krugs, is nice if you wish to be a kind soul. Also, basically, it's a Predator clear. You can do that reset, get boots, go top lane. You can do that clear, reset, get preds, go mid lane, and then fall back to your blue side. But in this situation, it's just to provide a bit of generosity to our bot lane so they don't have to leash us. You do kind of want to be careful of being counter jungled when you do that clear. So I do like leaving an early ward. If you're going to solo Raptors, I like leaving a ward on this after one, just like a classic farming jungler would. And now typically you're not thinking, oh, Karthus is a farming jungler. And as you can see from this leashless clear, this is, of course, the rank 1 CHO'GATH jungler on the server. It is so slow. This is catastrophically slow. Hecarim is finished with his full clear at this point and taking a crab. And we're going to see him at this point most likely show up for a sprint somewhere. Something we should be thinking about. Pantheon gap. All right, they pushed up. You should not have pushed up. You should not have. No. No, this ain't good. I mean, you should know this, and it's incredible. How many times have we had this in our games lately? It was the Korean game, I think, right? And basically our jungler passed up, took this crab, and Hecarim started leashless but went down. And because our jungler was here taking this for free at 330, we know that Hecarim's here, so you can't trade, and Rakan just goes in and died. Similar vibes here. Now, a 5 camp into crab into Grum is actually the lowest win rate clear you can have, but it doesn't mean it's terrible, right? It's not good, but it doesn't mean you're going to lose the game. It just means you're basically putting yourself in a rough situation to get anything going. Trundle still has his flash. We're going to get the knock up here. We're going to get the silence. Beautifully done. Beautifully done. Obviously, the Vorpal spikes, give a slow. For those of you who don't know, can you see that? You can't exactly see that. It does 3% target max HP and slows by 30%. So if you can hit those, right, plus your knockup, plus your silence, I mean, people are not moving for a little bit, and people always think it's just the knockup, but it's not. It's not. The silence plus the slows provide value. Now, out of base, we have obviously Ione Boots of Lucidity complete, which is what we want for our first cash money buy, and a mana crystal, because being mana hungry sucks. And CHO'GATH is hungry. He's a hungry dinosaur. Not quite a hippo, but dinosaur. Let's see, we have 26-18 CS, Pantheon in the mid lane. We have 29-30 Karthus versus Vayne now. So she's able to turn that around decently. Obviously, she's going to have to go back to base now, and Karthus will have a bit of solo reign on this, as well as experience denial. And for us, if we know the Hecarim sequenced all the way down and then ganked this, most likely you're expecting the Hecarim to do the exact same thing again. Krugs, Raptors, Wolves, Gromp, and then looking to get to the bottom lane. So let's keep track of that. Now, what Cho'GATH can do here is instead of cutting up to do his Wolves and Gromp again, he can shadow this, foresee this, track this, and counter gank this, which is what I try to get a lot of you to do when you're a slower clearing jungler. Make sure you understand this very, very simple pretense of, hey, I have Predator. I know Hecarim's going to be in this area. You see it warded. We knew it was warded though. So here, this is a bit lazy for me because we could always hippity-hoppity this and go the long way, okay, and then make sure your Predator works. We still have some activation. Okay, Rakan goes in. I mean, I'm going to go back. Don't worry. Hecarim's in the mid lane. What kind of disrespect was that from the... Why did she move up? Why did she move up? The Predator was activated. It was almost finished. I mean, you put yourself in a position to be engaged. I mean, terrific, but good job by the Cho'GATH. Obviously, the Pantheon did not think about what I said we should be thinking about. Hecarim should be at this point... Okay, yeah, we lost vision. I was going to say he should be pretty close to 6. He is. RNG Crab will give him this. You don't need to go there. You know it's gone. No! No, man. I'm disappointed. He did not watch the jungle tracking video. You know it's gone because obviously, let's do the math here. I was about to go into it, but obviously we know the Hecarim is going up to take this crab. So we know that the Camille is about to get ganked and she needs to understand this and prepare for this. Let's see what transpires. Level 6 Hecarim, obviously Trundle cannot actually close this. Camille is a dominant champion. Hecarim is the most brain-dead OP jungler to ever exist in this game whenever it's strong. You know, you can go into a complete comatose state and still probably climb. Now, this is a dumb invade. Now, I'm just going to pause it for a second because look, a first 4 clear will give you 24 plus buffs. You do a crab that's 28. You show bot lane, you take a minion, you take a ward 29 or whatever, right? Let's just say 28 flat. Now, you rebase, you do 32, 36, 40, 44. You got that? Good. He crosses here with 44. Takes this and shows with 49. Obviously, he has 49 because he got an extra one from a ward or a CS. You don't need to go counter jungling here. You know straight up that is down. You should not go for this. Now, we know he's also 6. We also know that our mid laner is pushing that wave, but Akshan will be here first. We know that Hecarim knows that we are here and we are 5. This is a good invade only if you have mid prio and 3v2 advantage. You do not, you won't not, and you will not have had not, whatever language and tense you wish to speak in this cosmic galaxy, this ain't the play. I'm disappointed in the last 60 seconds. Bad tracking, bad counter jungling, bad invading. I'm okay. I'm okay. It's fine. We're okay. Obviously, I picked this replay because he's going to do the most damage. And he's going to win the game. But the trials and tribulations of the off-meta are really showing themselves. All right, let's go. Right, new camera. I know the beard's a bit glistening. I'm going to try to fix it. I think it's because it's 4K and it's being condensed all the way down to 1080p giga tiny, and it's a Streamlabs thing. The camera, it's fine. But, you know, waxed. So we do get 6. We do have an Akshan. Oh, he's going to get Predator silenced after that knockup, and basically you should be munched. Told you he's going to eat some ADC ass, and he did. I don't know, does that demonetize me? It shouldn't. Anyway, good gank, good rotation, good Predator. Let's go down to the Raptors. Knock up that... Good job. Knock up that red buff, the Brambleback, and go down to the Krug. So I'm not a fan of the general pathing of sequencing from this play. Now, obviously, this is a Master Tier game, so it's not a challenging game, it's not a Grandmaster game. There is a completely different level of jungling, and you're seeing the mistakes. Like, these are small little mistakes that are actually not small. You know, I see it in gold and platinum and diamond. I don't want to see this in a Master Tier game. Now, the problem is you go Raptors, Krugs, and you keep going back, so you're wasting this time. Obviously, this is a good gank here, but you have to think, what is my next objective? If it's just Raptors, Krugs, and down, sure. But if your basic goal here is to, say, take this RNG crab that's going to spawn and maybe do a Herald, because you know Hecarim should be, you know, sequencing down and you want to forsake your bot lane, you could counter Herald this pretty easily. But at this point, we don't know exactly where Hecarim's going to be, because even after the red buff, you know, I would expect him to be sequencing down around the dragon. You're seeing the pings come through. But again, that's where your jungle tracking intuition does happen, and you gotta play the people. You know, in gold, they could still be top lane. In platinum, they could be bot lane and top lane. I mean, no one knows where people go. But at this particular point, that's a good ping. So you see, we do Raptors, Krugs, move all the way up here. We move to this particular place, which is nice, obviously. Hecarim, there you go, there he is on the bottom side. Again, I don't know the replay. I'm just kind of looking at the tracking and thinking about it. But obviously, if you go and fight over a red buff and he sequences down again, kind of obvious. So what I would have liked is maybe a bit more cohesive sequencing into this sooner, with more intent. Now, you will be counter-jungled, of course. So what you can't deny here is basically say, listen, I know he's sequencing down. I'm going to take these camps just to prevent him from stealing them, which is, of course, a very good and viable way to think about things. But at the same time, I'm not a fan of the spaghetti power thing and such things. Right. Control Wood is activated. Hecarim doesn't get to counter-jungle anything, so that is a pro, but we don't have results-based it anyway. He moves to the Trundle, whose flash is silent, knock up once more, and again, and chompy, chompy, chompy. Rijuzi. Karthus presses R to kill Pantheon. Unfortunate. But he is doomed and done. Let's go. Do we want to elevate the game state here? Yes. Because Hecarim now, see? So, the reason why I'm speaking like that is because now Hecarim, again, will have dominion over the bottom side, and now he can counter jungle this anyway. And obviously you're going to be resetting, you've elevated the game state. Do you see where I'm going with this? It's definitely a pro and a con depending on your pathing. I am much more a let me be hyper efficient kind of stuff, because you could have easily taken all of his camps as well. But we're going into like what if-isms and things that really don't matter and hypotheticals, and you never know how it's going to play out. So let's just focus on the good aspect, which was we got the Herald. We understood the Herald was there. We knew the Hecarim was down. We made the equal and opposite play. We traded the Dragon for an objective, and we took a tower and elevated the game state. And now, of course, our Camille decided to push and die. Every time. Hey, top laner, would you like a Herald and some plates and to elevate the game state with me? Then we can move to the map, prevent counter jungling on the bottom side, maybe dive bot lane or dive mid lane. No, they prefer to just die top lane. It astounds me that they don't know when to back the hell off sometimes. It is what it is. So, we join these together because we can now. We have Everfrost super completed. We have our Predator activation techniques ready to go. RNG Crab blesses us as we go to the top side here. And this sequencing I like, because you don't necessarily want to come out of base and do a full sequence because you want to control everything in shadow and go for this invade. So we cut out the Krugs, you take all of these, and now you can do this. So this is very, very good. And Hecarim, as we can see, is stealing the Krugs, but we know when we have a lead here, we want to do this. But you see, careful, run, man. Run. As soon as you see the frozen dominion of Trundle's W, you just leave. End of story. No question. You just absolutely leave, because that gives it away. That they know where you are. You have to scan on approach here. Did he even do so? Let me have a look. I mean, let's have a cheeky look at the power thing, which is why I like talking about these power things. Okay, look, if you're gonna go in this invade, a lot of fundamental errors here. I'm trying to talk about CHO'GATH jungle, but we're getting way into the jungle stuff because you're gonna invade here. Why aren't you scanning? I mean, obviously this control ward is at the bottom of the bush, but it's at the bottom of the bush, which means its sphere of influence isn't as high as you would think. So if they've warded this and you've already done this play, just scan it. Always scan your approach for a counter jungle like this, you know? Always. And you see Akshan leave mid lane. So again, we see Akshan leave, so we already should be leaving because we kind of know what's going to be happening here. You see the frozen domain. Let's leave again. Hyper aggressive jungling. So I'm liking the champion, and the play of the champion is very, very good. It is going well. You know, like we're seeing the pros and cons of CHO'GATH as a pick, and I think we can all agree it's fine. It's viable. It's fun. It's got some, you know, it's got some zing to it, and that's what we want with our champion. Some zing, something interesting, something that's like, well, when he's ahead, he's oppressive. When he's played well, he's an actual viable jungler. So Hecarim goes mid lane and Gis, you know, again has something against Grease, I don't know. And we have here CHO'GATH getting ulted by the Karthus because our bot lane has gone super deep, and now Hecarim thinks, haha, I can go and counter jungle the CHO'GATH, and CHO'GATH says, can I introduce you to my Vorpal strikes and blades? Oh, you're gonna get chomped, my friend. Bye. So what is this? Master tier invades of the Hecarim, man. What is this? Master tier invades of the average invades. Top 10 average invades and bad invades of the week. Guess the rank. No one will guess. If you watch this third person, even as a lower elo jungle, I would like to hope that you recognize those triggers, that those were bad invades, and why. At least within my teachings and coachings, I try to deliver that message, but I don't know. Because obviously if the CHO'GATH does this, right, he's probably going to be on the bottom side next because he was just sequencing top side. So why would you go for that red invaders Hecarim anyway? Good job on the Camille, though. Thank you for the rotation. Actually did some good stuff. All right, then. Let's speed this along, shall we? Onwards to the goal. Onwards to victory. So, Vayne, not Kane. Vayne is fighting the Karthus on the bottom lane. Oh, excuse me. We're EU West. So, Karthus on the bottom side. Now we're scanning. Yeah. We want 11 technically. So the scanning on the ult here, as you can see, is the HP for stack goes up plus the damage goes up. So it's not like a Galio ult in that sense. You know what I mean? But we're at 5 stacks, which is pretty good. But it definitely would be nice to make sure we get 11 for the next one. But I don't think it's too much of an issue because we just want the stacks. Unfortunate. Knockup misses. That was a bit of an early chomp. Could we not have tried to E or reposition using flash? Maybe a silence or something? I think we could have made an outplay that gets us the Janna kill, but if we want to save those skills for a little bit later, that's fine. But I do think there was a method for us to play that, but he has a Cho'GATH one trick. He's one of the best in Europe at playing the champion physically, so I'll leave that to him. Either way, we want the tower. Nice stuff. And off we go. Run away. You're getting shredded. You're getting shredded. Oh my goodness. Oh, you are a bit more squishy with this build. Look at the top left here. Vayne gets a tower, but in the meantime, Akshan, no style. Just kidding, that's a lot of style, but I hate that champion. Ironically, I would rather face 10 out of 10 Akshans than a single Zeri. Zeri is the most absolute giga disease champion I can... You wait, uh-oh. Okay, good. Good, you didn't get anything. But in the meantime, we have, he's not even a Hullbreaker Fista. He's a Divine Sunderer Fista. So he's just splitting top lane, which is what he does. Dragon is going to be up. We're going to lose this. So, oh, wait a second. Anyway, as I was saying, we're going to get this because clearly the ADC was there and Hecarim was low and I was trying to talk about something else, so. I like it when things happen like that. It's funny. Totally not me missing something, which I shouldn't miss, but hey. I'm human. Now, we have Demonic's Embrace completed. Excellent. Some more HP for us. Some bit of AP in our build. We're not going tanky, but you can go tanky. You can also do the same thing while being unholy tanky and still doing damage in the Frostfire build. Here we go. That's an eyeball plus chomp plus smite plus ratio. So let's get that going. Oh, smite it, please. Okay. Or chomp it. Yep. Just get it. Here we go with the fight. Nice by the Rakan. We're going to keep following this up. We get the silence. Beautifully done. We have Vorpal Strikes coming up in 1. Another knockup. Double knockup. Beautifully done. And now Vorpal Strike. And we just keep smacking him with them. With the spikes. I keep saying spikes, right? Yeah, spikes. Beautiful. And that's why I like Cho'GATH. Cho'GATH is that kind of Ornn, Sion-ish team fight. Like, just has good team fight presence. It's just fun to execute in a team fight when you hit a very good skill shot. You know, you hit a meaty Sion Q, a girthy Sion Q. You know, you feel like a Chad, as you should. You hit a beautiful Ornn combo. You knock someone up like 15 times. There's a joke there. I'm not going to go through with it. You know, it feels good. And same thing with Cho'GATH. You hit a good knockup like that, especially when you're building a bit more AP reliant. It's really, really satisfying, I think. One of those champions that you would think needs a rework, but honestly has such a good place, even in this game state. Here we go. Love it. You get that? My cat likes it as well. Nice squeakings. So actually, I don't know if you heard that, but he just yelled at me because apparently he wants to main Cho'GATH too. So, good job. Herald usage on the top lane, not the best. Definitely think we need to, I don't know, guys, up your second Herald game, man. Like, you can bust open the game like this. Don't force it. Use it righteously and properly. Don't just give them some gold and push it a little bit, you know? I mean, I really want to use the second Herald for Dragon Distraction, Baron Distraction, or with the Baron if you're really far ahead. And alternatively, just a good team fight win into like a double tower take or an inhibitor tower take. If you don't want to take the inhibitor, just bust open the map, makes your job so much easier when there's no inhibitor tower, you know? So back to base, we're going for the anti-heal because we've got Trundle. We have here Hecarim. And actually, you know what? I don't know if I feel like this is necessary. I get the, I mean, again, I don't know Cho'GATH to the level that this player does, but if you want AP and HP, I always think a Shadow Flame is just always going to do you some good. Demonic's Embrace is always going to do you some good. Same thing with Everfrost. You've got things like Rylai's that we build on other champions, you know, like Mordekaiser. So there are options for us. I do think, obviously, the healing versus Trundle and the Hecarim is kind of nice, but I'm not really seeing it, you know, as a like, I really need this to win the game item, you know? That's just my personal opinion on this, and I see it a lot. Like, Thormail's overboard completely. Now, Trundle overcommits here, obviously, and basically just gets absolutely chomp munched and destroyed. Hecarim is not completely out of position as well. Rakan does dashy McDashy things. Zhonya's is activated while the E is activated on the Karfus, but he's gonna get, well, he actually doesn't get knocked up, but he still will fall. And beautifully done by the Vayne, who is now cruising to destroy based upon the performance of her team. And again, look at the Karthus damage, that's a lot. So you are squishy with this build, keep it in mind. Let's have a look. We reduced 323 just from that fight. So against the Trundle, huge value, obviously. But would that have stopped us killing him? Unlikely. I mean, that's, yeah, it's not like those games where it really has no place. I can't remember the game we had. Which game was it? One of the gameplays in the last month, that someone bought it, and it did absolutely nothing, and then they sold it, realizing it did nothing. This is kind of a greedy play, because Akshan is alive and we're low. Hecarim is just going to also turbo sprint him, but he doesn't have Predator. We're going to miss that because he is Hecarim. TP will be engaged. Horse, was machst du? Okay, he's running away because he's a goddamn pony. Janet trying to torpedo us. Will she go for this? Yeah. Lazy backs. Just take the crab and get out. Always take the crab and get out in this situation. Take the crab, take your blue quadrant if you need the gold, ship yourself, move yourself. Don't waste your time on a bad back. Just, you know, it's much easier to do that. We could split here, but we're not a Hellbreaker gamer, and their whole team is going to be revived, not like Karthus revived Season 3. You guys remember that? That summon a spell? Ah! He's just going for, yeah, there you go. He's going for the Assassino. So, I don't mind it when people go for picks here, but obviously I'm not, you can see my mind. My mind is a little bit different the way I play the game. I would rather clear this quadrant, not lazy base back here, kite into this, put deep vision control, anyone split pushing here, kill them, and then do this. So I prefer to do my assassinating this side, just so I'm ready to be with my team on this dragon. But that's just a personal play style. I prefer to play around those kind of timers and so on, but there's nothing wrong with doing this unless your team is useless. If your team is useless, and if it's like a soul point, or if it's just, you know, a crucial dragon, and you're not here and your team dies, you cannot blame anyone. So remember, when you make this play, you're putting a lot of trust in your team to make the right play on the other side of the map without you. And if you're in a lower elo game, I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it. But if you're someone who can build Hellbreaker, you could split the top lane. You know, if everyone starts fighting here 5v4 and you make this play, sorry, 4v4 and you make this play, so this guy's dead, you can catch this wave and just shove it if you're like a really strong split pusher. Rengar, next patch, crit, you can do that. If you're behind and you're not having a good game as Rengar, no, not again, Karfus. You can do that play. Because that's how I used to play Rengar in Season 4. Everfrost knock up. Okay, very nicely done. Vorpal spikes are activated if we need them, which we don't need them, but we use them because we can, you know. Might as well use your abilities. Beautifully done. Everfrost, knock up, munchies. Every single time. Nice and easy. Is this T1 in the jungle? Surprised he didn't play more CHO'GATH jungle, to be honest with you. All right. Now, you could do this El Baron, but you have to factor in that Camille is dead. We munch it. Vayne obviously does huge damage to it. We do some good zonings. Be careful, Bollywood. Here we go. Okay, backs out of the knockup from the Rakan, but CHO'GATH gets one, and now we're back in her face. And obviously, Pantheon says, yo, what up? Grease arrived. Back to base we go. 10-2-10. The pick is now strong. And this is the thing, right? You know, you're definitely getting value. No, the data. Okay, so just still 360. You know? Or that's on top, right? They had resets, right? It goes from, it resets to 0, unfortunately. It's so dumb. It should be additive, but still. I don't think it would stop you winning the game by not having it. You know what I mean? I'm all about I don't like compromising my itemization unless I really have to, I guess, is just my philosophy. So Zhonya's is obviously good because you want to prevent any sort of randomness that might get you killed, that gives them some shutdowns and bounties. This is most likely an overcommit by the Trundle. Let's have a look here. Look at this, you see? Passive vision line. And now a lot of, just turbo sprint. Now a lot of you are going to say, well, is it passive vision line? Well, I mean, you don't have a vision line. You have a dotted line with holes in it, you know? So you want vision line to go across so you can see when people enter, and you can see here, okay, now we're back out. You know, you don't want to be surprised here or here. So, yeah, just because you have some wards down doesn't mean there's a vision line. You know, a vision line is an actual, you know, blanket across the map that lets you see where people cross, so that it's just, you know, the line of scrimmage of the map for you when you're behind. And if you just overcommit and die, it's not really worth it. I mean, it's really doing work against a Trundle, but again, like, maybe I'm just overthinking it. Anyway, I'll stop talking about it, because I mean, it's really much of a muchness in this particular point. It's giving some value. It's obviously got AP and HP. It's a good total item. So, you know, we'll run with it. We'll run with it. Right, out of base, we are looking absolutely thick and juicy. Those genetic modifications coming in very, very strong. Belgian Blue Cow meets Cho'GATH. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. Bottom lane here, we have a not a lazy back, but a cutting edge back, turbo measurement, predator activation, knockable miss because Bollywood Gaming misses the Everfrost, doesn't matter because we have here. Deserved. Now, can we do that to Ziri in the next one? I'm going to find another gameplay just with the Ziri, and I'm going to make sure she dies 20 times and just get some catharsis going for myself because, oh my goodness. Man alive. But very nicely done. Well executed again. Obviously a lot of discussion about the early tracking and early jungling. Definitely, I hope you understand my pros and cons about it. If you do certain spaghetti power things to prevent counter jungling, again, it's fine, but understand the trade-offs and what you have to do around it. Definitely understand, you know, the tracking, you know, 28, you know, they're not going buffs again afterwards. So that's already minus 8 CS from your tracking. So you're not, you know, doubling 24 to 48 and so on, things like this. If you don't know what I mean, I'll link it below, the tracking video on the main channel. I really go over all the CS tracking stuff and how you can keep using it very frequently to avoid wasting your time counter jungling like that. So I think you're gonna, for numbers, 1185 true damage or 1535 to minions or jungle monsters. So if you lose a Baron or a Dragon as Cho'GATH jungle, and you blame your team, I don't know what to tell you. And I did see that. I mean, in my scouting for this, I can look up the match histories and it will say, you know, sometimes a bad smiter because they lost a Baron or Dragon or Herald and they're Cho'GATH, and I'm kind of confused, like a Nunu. How's it even happen? I do know things happen, but if you're playing on 5,000 ping, just don't do it. Anyway, oof, good dodge. So, you know, the jungling definitely in terms of tracking, counter jungling, and pathing, a little bit suboptimal, some really over-aggressive invades, but the rest of it, solid, you know, solid, good Cho'GAThing, which is all you're really looking for in these kinds of plays, and this is why he plays it in Master Tier, which is, I guess, the title of the video, because you can, because it's strong, and because the skin is absolutely stunning. My goodness, look at that. That just looks so nice. And obviously, it's one of the few champions where you can actually look at your skin in high res, because you're actually big enough. I mean, you could build it on any champion, but I think it's kind of griefing. Anyway, so we're taking this slow. We take the mid inhib. Everyone's kind of splitting off. I mean, it looks like it's kind of done and dusted. So we'll take some camps here. We'll move into their jungle as we want to. We don't want to sequence. Remember, we're not doing that. We see Trundle once more overcommitting on the bot side. Because your team is actually ahead and doing a good job, we can go ahead and do this ourselves. We do Everfrost into a knockup. Obviously, now the healing and the Hellbreaker are coming through very, very strong. I mean, nerf Hellbreaker more. There is no universe where a 14 Trundle should be able to do that. There is no universe where that should be something like, oh, that's okay, it's fine. His KDA doesn't matter, remember. KDA is it's a misconception. Just because someone's got 20 deaths doesn't mean they shouldn't be able to kill you. I mean, if you've stole the game out 80 minutes and they have full build, the KDA is irrelevant. It's always about the items, the experience, and so on. In this case, he just has, let's see, 9,900 gold to 15,000, and he's down 3 levels, and he can kind of stick with it. It's just wrong, in my humble opinion. Right, otherwise, really weird gameplay, but you know what? I had a lot of fun. I hope you had fun too, and I hope you learned a little bit about jungling. Chompy, told you he's going to get dinner. 15 to 10. Beautifully done. So, pros and cons of Cho'GATH. Tell me if you like Cho'GATH. Tell me if you want to be Cho'GATH. Tell me if you want, I'm not going to say what I was going to say next. Have him as a pet maybe, but definitely viable jungler, good jungler, predator jungler, and a lot of fun. And as you can see, a little slow on the first clear, but if you can navigate those trackings and invades, you have strength and you have assassination potential. So, enjoy. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, I will see you all in the next tutorial. Match history is also in the description.